Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host Matt Marrero along with your other host,
Tristan Walter.
And today, everybody, for Friday Night Movies, we're doing something a little bit different yet exactly the same. Although I am confused. So Tristan, was it me or did Godzilla's suit look a little bit different?
Yeah, I think they went a full CG route in this one. And
he did not look a day over CGI. He looked great. So we're doing Jurassic Park today.
Yeah, I was about to say, apparently we skipped up to 1993 as well.
Yes, right, we jumped up about 30 years. So we're doing Jurassic Park, and the reason why we're doing this, so you've wanted to do this movie for a while. I like this movie. And some things kind of just crashed down around us, and we were like, what do we do? And we were like, well, we know. So we did Jurassic Park.
Yay.
Yeah, so this is a really good movie. There's some things that I did enjoy, but otherwise, a really good movie. Like there always is, of course, right? We're critics. But this was a really good movie.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So this movie, okay. So I have a question to ask you. You studied a lot more about this stuff, everything in this movie, than me. How much of this is accurate? And more importantly, do you like the fact that they at least were comparing them to birds instead of like reptiles, kind of like we have over the last 50 years or so, like with Godzilla and stuff like that?
Yeah, so the study is paleontology. I mean, it encompasses a lot more than just dinosaurs, but obviously there are plenty of people who specialize in dinosaurs. As far as the accuracy, I mean, let's all keep in mind this is Hollywood, so it's not that accurate, but all the way from them digging up the velociraptor that you see in the beginning in Montana with Dr. Grant and Dr. Sadler, and up until, the whole manipulating genetics. I mean, you kind of get the short version, and I think in the original novel, the author actually delves a lot more into the explanation, but there's been plenty of, attempts to, get, as far as I've heard or seen, trying to get DNA strands out of mosquitoes, but I think at least what I've come across, and things change. Like the information that we get on what's possible is always changing. So right now, the kind of idea, or at least as far as I know, the idea right now about getting DNA that old, like 65 million plus, out of a mosquito, even if it is encased in amber, is not, the DNA is no longer viable. But hey, I love that they tried. They did put in the effort to at least sound somewhat convincing.
So when you say viable, you're saying that there's nothing left. Like there's nothing that can be copied whatsoever or even looked into. It's just a dead mosquito.
I feel like they kind of exaggerate, finding the DNA strand and it has some holes in it, but we plug in frog DNA and other DNA from other animals like they do in they did in Jurassic World, different movie, but yes. It's just the strand much more corroded than just a few holes here and there in the chain. So.
Right. And what I was going to say was, maybe I'm the weird one here. Maybe I'm the odd one out. Maybe I'm the scientist. I don't think that Jurassic Park is a bad idea as an amusement park. I think it was a bad idea when they were like, let's get T-Rexes. And it was like, why?
Yeah. I mean, the funny part is even, Jurassic Park would actually be an okay idea if you restrict it to herbivores. Because then, I mean, yes, not to say that, 1,000+ tons of animal, stampeding or trampling you would still not kill you rather than just eating you. But at least with a herbivore, you have a less likely chance of being, completely obliterated by it. Because think of it like elephants in a circle can still in a circus can still harm people if they're angered or or anything like that, or even just accidents too. But at least
of course,
you remove from their food chain.
Yeah, the thing is, obviously you're not going to, it's a herbivore, let me kick its eggs. No, it's going to kill you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you said, accidents are accidents, but I would rather run away from a stampeding herbivore than have to look at a raptor. Even just one.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah. So that's my whole thing. That's my take on it. I feel as if it was such a good idea, or at the very least, make them little tiny babies and keep them as babies. Don't let them grow.
Right.
Which I'm not saying that they still can't hurt you, but I think it's just more adorable, and also that they're kickable if there's 3 raptors and 2 of them are trying to charge you, and they're little tiny little things.
I mean, it's funny. It's the second movie, but there is a point where there are very, very small dinosaurs that eat a guy. Granted, they're in a pack, but size.
I remember that. There were many of them though that ate that dude, right? It wasn't just a few.
No, it was a good pack. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and granted, I get it. It's still a problem. I'm just saying that I'd rather take on 3 little tiny T-Rexes than 1 big one.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
But Matt, if you don't move, it can't see you. Now,
so you told me that's bullshit, right?
Yes, that was the theory at the time, or that was the hypothesis at the time. That their vision was based on movement. But I mean, okay, I don't have the actual studies to back it up scientifically to prove the point, but more research as in, I believe in the structures of their skulls, and even just the idea of looking at modern day predators too, even other reptiles, are not solely dependent on motion to be able to hunt their prey. So the idea that a T-Rex wouldn't be able to look at you and not register that, there's something there, because you're not moving is ridiculous.
Right, because it's basically trying to say that they don't have noses, they can't turn the opposite way.
Right.
It's literally as if, it's the perfect weakness for something so large in a movie.
Yeah.
Right? Or just as,
right.
as
I get
a thought.
Why they did it for the movie, and they, again, at the time, that was the idea. So, for the time, it wasn't technically wrong, but going back now, obviously, that idea has changed.
Well, I also think one thing that's changed over time is how, now the way we look at dinosaurs now visually. At the time, they were all CGI. I'm sorry. No, but all jokes aside, Matt, what are they now? Well, they're more handwritten. Get out. No, but seriously, they're hand drawn. But the dinosaurs, talking about the way that they should look, though, quote unquote, I'm happy they referenced the fact that, they came from birds, or they potentially came from birds, and this is how they hunt and everything like that. But it's interesting that they didn't use feathers or anything like I've seen current or recent illustrations of how dinosaurs should have looked, and they're a lot more feathered than you would think.
Yes. Yeah.
And a lot more. Some of them more chicken-like.
Yeah. Especially raptors. But they're even now considering even T-Rex, Tyrannosaurs would have had feathers as well. Again,
so it's
kind
interesting.
of an idea that's changing with new specimens that have been found, because so many more dinosaurs now are being found with, feather imprints or actually fossilized feathers. I'm pretty sure there have been feathers that have been found that are fossilized.
So that's something that potentially wasn't wrong at the time.
Right, yeah, it wasn't wrong at the time. Like, I don't know how far or how long the idea of feathers has been accepted. It's
I know people were pissed with Jurassic World.
Time to study dinosaurs. It may be more. It'll be more recent, but it's been a few years now, and it's been more widely accepted.
Right. No, that's what I was just saying. I know people were really pissed off with Jurassic World. People were not happy about that at all.
Well, I mean, it's funny. They actually do reference that in the movie, like why they don't have feathers. Yeah.
So we'll talk about that when we actually do the film then.
Yeah.
But interesting. But so yeah, I want to say that the CGI in this movie was actually top notch in some ways, and then in other ways it kind of hurt me. And I don't mean hurt me like it was bad necessarily. It just hurt me like it came off as very much like a video game. I know that's another thing. It's dated, even though they had a lot of money behind this movie. Still, the practical effects will always, like seeing some of the dinosaur heads and knowing that they were practical, I'm like, damn, that looked great, right? Like the raptors at some points, they were practical, and I was like, damn, you look good. But then when I saw the T-Rex in the light of day, I was like, oh no, you had to be out at night. Right. I can see the lines.
Well,
you know?
It's funny. Even for me, there's a point when the T-Rex is chasing Malcolm and Sadler and the hunter. Oh, I can't. Or no, the game. I can't remember his name now. But even in that scene, like the T-Rex bursting through the tree line and chasing after them, it's like, especially when it's coming out of the tree line, like that's when I feel like, yeah, there's a bit of CG in there.
Well, yeah, basically. I mean, I think that just at night you're better able to hide some stuff like that. But when you're in the light of day, you can just kind of see, not even see the outline as if it's them being, shitty or anything like that. It's just your brain is trained to tell you what's fake and what's not.
True.
So in the light of day, seeing one of the T-Rexes chomp on, I can't remember the exact species of dinosaur, the ones that were in the herd.
Oh, the Gallimimus.
Yes, seeing it chomp on one of those.
Can you tell me what that dinosaur is? It's a Gallimimus. Very good, Tim.
Yeah. Yes. I wonder when they actually told. I can't remember her name, but the doctor. She came in with the main character, if you want to call him that.
Dr. Grant and Dr. Sadler.
Yes, she. Yeah, I just want to mention that. Right, the botanist.
That they had a botanist in there too. Like that was really cool for me, because she would study vegetation and the paleo environment. But it's just good representation, I think. That's all.
Okay, but what I was going to say was that the reason why I was happy, I'm not happy rather. I will be happy actually if they ever show it. The scene where they tell her that you almost killed a kid. I want to know when they're going to tell her.
Oh, when they were on the fence. Well, they couldn't have known that they were climbing the fence at that exact moment. I mean,
but I still want to know when they. I have to see when they tell her though.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh my God. No, but oh my God, what happened to him? Oh, you're never going to believe it. We're on the fence, and then the electricity turned back on. That must be crazy, right? What a coincidence. Her face.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, they were all pretty traumatized by what happened, so,
Yeah. I'm sure he's just fine. Grandfather comes back. He says he doesn't remember Moth.
Oh, my God.
That kid got shocked hard.
To be fair, I mean, it's funny. I don't even know if Hammond will ever get to see his grandchildren again, considering what happened.
Yeah, right. Well, okay. I know we should blame him for everything he did, but come on. The kid's parents...
Oh, horrible. I mean, it's still the idea of, well, what the fuck did you think was going to happen? But
unless they didn't know, to be fair, unless they didn't know. But I'm pretty sure, unless he was like, don't tell your parents, they're going to freak out because they're going to be near dinosaurs. Unless he did that, which sounds like something he would do. It's
I feel like he probably would have told his family what happened. It was going to come out one way or another because...
No, I mean beforehand.
Second movie for a bit too, and he's just the lawsuits just piled up on him, and he basically lost everything.
Tristan, I'm referring to beforehand.
Oh, what? When they went there.
Yes, just actually the kids actually being there. It should be like, look, I know you want to blame him, but the kids have parents.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like at the beginning it's just it's going to be a giant theme park and it's going to be amazing and everything, we're testing it out and everything's, been cleared. The animals are there, everything's fine. You don't really realize how wrong. I'm just
saying I would never let my kid go to a dinosaur theme park. That's all I'm saying. And if there was a problem, I wouldn't be like, well, I'm going to blame my dad who made it. No, you let them go. Again, that's what I'm saying, unless the parents didn't know. I'm like, I know we should be blaming the grandpa, and we are. But
I see what's okay. Hammond didn't tell the parents what was at the theme park.
No, I'm saying either way. Either he didn't tell them, or if he did, then they're terrible parents.
Well, I mean, you could say the same thing about Jurassic World. So.
Oh, I haven't seen Jurassic World. Tristan, why are you referencing movies that haven't happened to me yet?
Okay.
Or to us? We're doing this podcast, Tristan. We're doing this one.
I know. It's just a reoccurring theme. That's all. I'm just.
Well, it's true. It definitely is a recurring theme. I'll give you that much. But anyway, my God, this movie. I'm just thinking of the fact that it even not the movie exists, but just the idea of a Jurassic Park is just who approved this? How did he get funding?
I mean, you saw the lawyer's jaw drop when he actually saw the dinosaurs, and he's like, "We're gonna make millions on this place." Never mind the pending lawsuit from the worker that was killed when you were building it. You were pretty up in arms about that, and then you actually saw it, and it's we can give them the money. That man died. We can give them the money.
Well,
I don't think
that's
you understand
what
I'm saying.
No, he does. That's the problem. The fact that okay, right. So this is a really I'm going to get real real with this here. Some corporations, right, instead of, and this is in the real world, instead of fixing a problem in something, they'll look at the potential of it screwing over and screwing up and killing people, and they'll go, okay, wait, what's going to cost us more? Recalling everything, or a few people dying from this and then having to pay out the lawsuits and the hush money? And it turns out that it's cheaper to pay the hush money than it is to recall every item.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's that man died. It's yeah, with the money we're going to be making here, we can pay for it.
Oh, God, you just hear Hammond, we spared no expense.
Yeah.
Oh, take a shot every time John Hammond says we spared no expense.
Take a shot every time Jeff Goldblum laughs awkwardly.
Oh, jeez.
I loved it. Just ha. It's well, I gotta take a shot.
Now I'm alone by myself and talking to myself.
But I wonder what parts were ad libs, because I look at a scene like that and I'm like, was that in the script?
I mean, yeah, that's possible.
Yeah. But yeah,
I love the comparison when we were talking before the show as we were both watching this. The comparison you made, it's like, oh, everything makes sense now. It's like you're Dr. Grant, and then I'm well, reverse, but I'm Grant and you're Malcolm.
Right, yeah, no, because the reason why I said that you're Grant is because you were like, I loved how he completely wrecked that kid in the beginning, and I was like, that's you, man.
I mean, he just spooked him a bit. I mean, come on. Although,
well, here's the thing. Look, man, my thing is,
like, if you wanted to scare the kid out, you could have just pulled a gun on him.
Jesus. No, but here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. I'm just trying to say that the kid was a little shit, yes.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between, hey, that thing can eat you, versus saying, like, it's going to take this and rip into you. Like, I don't know, like, imagine if you had a taser and you were like, oh, yeah, you want to mess with those people? Because you know what they're going to do? They're going to use this on you. And then you're going to fry in the inside. Like, it's not. Like, there's a difference between, all right, he's a little shit, make him be respectful, versus describing his death with the item that could kill him.
Yeah, all right, I'll admit the raptor claw, like, you know, obviously he didn't hurt the kid with it or anything like that, but, like, yeah, like, physically showing where on his body he would be slashed open with the raptor claw is pushing it. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Yeah, now granted, he could take it out and be like, this thing, it can kill you.
Right.
Like, feel the tip.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, ow. And it's like, yeah, imagine that. That, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can do something like that, but, like, just the way he went into him, it's just like, it's just kind of funny that she even thinks by the end of the movie, oh, that's so nice. Now he's good with kids. Now he can have kids. It's just like, oh, yeah, I'd want that line of dialogue to be said to my child. It's like, no, it's like, it's just like, you know what? Like, imagine kid at the dinner table, I'm not eating tonight. You know what happens to kids that don't eat? They starve. And when they starve, flies come around and they eat them, and crows come in. This crow's talon. Why the fuck do you have that talon, Grant? This crow's talon will go into, like, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, dude, I understand. He's a little shit, but goddamn. Now, granted, I'm not saying that, like, if I was her, I'd be like, oh, break up with him immediately. Like, no, but, like, just the fact that she was just like, oh, he'll come around to having kids. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, wait, what? That's your response to that? He'll come around. What was very interesting, I think, is that the both of them were in a relationship, but they didn't really focus on that in the ways that you normally would in a movie like this.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like technically they aren't. Like, they kind of tease the idea that something might be there, but they're not officially together.
Really?
They are co-workers.
Okay.
Yeah, it is never explicitly said that they are together.
All right. Yeah. So I just took it as they're a power couple. Like, they just don't have to kiss every 5 seconds, and they, you know, like, I thought there was something there.
Okay. Like, yeah, I feel like there's something there, but like I said, it's not established, and the fact, like, Malcolm kind of sitting on her a bit, and Alan's a little, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, you two, like, I feel like he only says it to be like, yeah, you need, like, yes, we are together. Now, can you please shut the fuck up about chaos and stop running your hands all over her arms?
Yeah, fair enough. It's just, to me, it felt like there was something there because, like, I don't know, like, it looked like they were, like, it was because the thing is, when I think of, like, maybe there's something there, I think of it like a will they, won't they, and they didn't have the time to do a will they, won't they, or at least they just didn't do it in general. So it's really strange that, you know, not that you're thinking this, but, like, it's strange to come in with, you know, you saying, oh, they're not together, and then even me saying, oh, they are. And it's like, wait, they never really talked about it either way. It's just weird to me. Like, I'm not saying a man and a woman can't be coworkers and friends. It just came off to me in the beginning that, like, she was trying to convince his mind about kids because they're together. You know, you work on the field, you know. I don't know, like, it just, I thought that they, and I mean this in any sense of, like, you know, you're away from civilization. It's just the two of you.
Yeah.
You embrace each other. Like, that's what, so, like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, they're together and that's fine. They don't have to be making out every 5 seconds, and she doesn't have to be patronized, so it's okay. But you're right. They never explicitly said, like, oh, no, these two are married or something.
There's a development in a later movie, but, again, I don't want to spoil
Fair enough. So I might be forgetting, unless it was in the third one, because I didn't see the third one. Either way, to me, it came off like the two were together the whole time. But, yeah. But the kids, though, so it's really funny because, like, you always don't like kids in anything we ever discuss movie-wise. I'm kidding somewhat. But I think you like these kids, right? I don't think you were like, oh, God, these little shits. Like, I think these were kids that you can even feel bad for.
Oh, yeah. No, well, dude, like, even if they were little shits, I'd still feel bad for them, like, going through this.
Right. True.
But, yeah, no, I enjoyed the characters. Oh, God. Well, yeah, Tim, but, oh, man. Alexa. Yes.
You can just say my names for them, the boy and the girl. Like, that's just what
yes, I know, but I really enjoy this movie. It's one of my it's like this movie is a classic for me and near and dear to my heart, so I feel like I should know the characters' names.
Oh, I understand. I like it too. I love the movie. It's just in movies especially, sometimes in shows too, but especially in movies, they don't really say everyone's name more than once occasionally. Like, sometimes they do, but I feel like in this movie I didn't hear everyone's name multiple times, at least the kids. So for the kids, I'm like, I literally just knew Tim because, like, yeah.
Yeah. It's said so many times, and it's, yeah, pick it up.
But, yeah, but, what was it? What were we? Oh, yes. So, yeah, I was mentioning to you about the kids, and you were saying, you know, oh, no, I feel bad for them. One thing I want to say about everyone, though, I like that in this movie it felt like there was no hero. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying everyone was a villain, right? But I enjoy the fact that it never felt like, oh, you know, it's a woman in distress, a man needs to save her, or, you know, anything like that, because you're against these dinosaurs. Everyone is a victim. Everyone is a target.
Yeah.
And I think I enjoyed that. Because, like, in some movies, I feel like even with dinosaurs, it'd be like, and then Grant punches him in the face, and he says, see you next Dino Day. And then they run away.
God.
You see what I mean, though? You see what I mean, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, look, I could have went with, and I'm the comet. Like, I could have done that. I'm the extinction.
Well, I mean, oh, God, you are Malcolm. I mean, with the puns and your jokes, because he even does, it's like, oh, with this kind of theme park, we'll be out of a job. Don't you mean extinct? Shut the fuck up, Malcolm. Like, Grant just looks at him like, shut the fuck up, man.
But, hey, let's be real, though. That is a crazy side effect to having something like that happen. Like, who wants to dig up dinosaur bones? They're right here. You know, but these are the originals. No, but they're right there. Yeah, but those are like frog ones or something. These are original. Yeah, whatever, man. We're going over here.
I mean, I feel like paleontology would still be prevalent, even, let's say, even if the park was successful and it became, you know, globally visited. It's like, you still want to find out more about dinosaurs in general, and the only way you're going to do that, like, yes, you've cloned some of them, but wouldn't you want to find more species to then add to the park's collection? It's always going to be
maybe.
And honestly, I feel like it even have the opposite effect for them. Like, it would fund a lot of paleontological digs to be like, no, go out and find more so we can make more of them and put them in. There's more money off of it.
I feel like they would rather take the cheap route and just make new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a lot cheaper to say. Because the thing, too, is, like, who's funding these archaeological digs anyway? Rich people that want to know what?
Paleontological digs. Archaeology is study of man-made tools, not dinosaurs.
I'm sorry, what?
Those two things are both my thing. So
What did I say wrong? I don't even remember saying anything.
You said archaeological dig.
Oh, sorry. I thought I just said who's funding these digs. My bad. Anyway, who's funding these paleontological digs? Like, it's rich people that I assume want to find out more or, like, want to help out. But, like, if you have the dinosaurs there, it's just like, well, mission accomplished, question mark.
I guess.
I'm not saying it's I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that
No, like, I get where you're coming from. I'm sure there are people snickering in the audience right now, because we know why. But it's okay, Matt. We'll get to that.
Okay. But one thing I want to say, though, funnily enough, when you said paleontologists, it's a little cut off because you're using your cell phone to podcast tonight, and I heard alien, and I literally sat back and I'm like, did he just fucking say that aliens are funding this?
Oh my god!
Because I'll watch that movie.
Oh, Indiana Park and the Jurassic Kingdom skull. Oh no.
Yes. Why would the aliens fund this? Because we're the ones who killed them. Bum, bum, bum.
It's
like,
just Grant
wait, what?
And Joe up together, like punching dinosaurs and aliens. Okay.
That would be wonderful. That's a movie I'd see. Pay money to have Harrison Ford punch the sky in front of a green screen.
On a T-Rex.
That's what would happen. He'd just be punching the sky, and they just put dinosaurs there, like velociraptors and shit.
Right. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Anyway, so one thing I want to mention about this film is the fact that were you a fan of the subplot? Because I don't know if I was a big fan of that. Like, I know technically it's like, well, the subplot is why most of the action happened. But they already had the storm coming in anyway. Like, I guess you could say the storm made it worse. But technically, I forgot the actual character's name. I'll just call him Fuckface. Fuckface was, or Newton, because I know, like, he's on Seinfeld. He was going to technically nuke the park anyway by shutting down all the systems.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, I don't think the storm was really just to get a lot of the personnel out of there, so it was less eyes to then see what the hell he was doing. And I feel like, because this passes, or at least it calms, when Ellie and the game hunter go out to find Grant and the kids, it's not raining anymore. So I feel like the storm wouldn't have been enough to send the park into such chaos as what he did, hacking into the system and basically turning everything off and fucking with it.
So you're saying that even without the storm, we technically could have gotten, like, this movie the way it was, like this same plot. It's just that the storm made things worse in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm saying that him messing with all the systems in the park was kind of needed. I mean, yeah, I guess they could have written that just a freak accident happens, or maybe the storm was worse, and, there's an electrical storm that shuts out, like knocks out one of the fences or something. I suppose you could go it that way, but I don't know. I feel like they may have been able to combat that a little easier, and it would have been only maybe one dinosaur getting, like, maybe it was just the T-Rex that gets out. But then...
No, I'm just saying that...
I feel like him and his subplot are needed for the movie, is what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, I'm not saying it's needed. I'm saying it's stupid on his end. Like, I'm gonna let all the dinosaurs out, and then I'm gonna get out safely. It's like, what? No.
I mean, it's weird. I kind of wonder if he actually intended to knock out the fences, and maybe not knock out everything, but maybe the way he wrote the program, or like I don't know anything about computers, so. And even that, a lot of the stuff with the computers in the movie, you could ask anyone who studies computer science and be like, yeah, that's not how that works really either. So,
what I love the most is that the movie was made in the 90s, right? Duh.
Yeah.
And because it was made in the 90s, they're like, well, they're teaching these kids stuff in school, so they could teach them so much that they'll be like, I know this program, and I'm like, listen, kid, I'm sure you know more than Grant knows.
Yeah,
but
I think the idea with her was she recognized the system that was used for it, and that system was like universal throughout different programs. So she's like, I remember this, like I recognize this, I can navigate this. Maybe not, the very like the specifics of like turning everything on and off again. Well, no, she did. She found the right folder. But again, it's something that's incredibly simplified for the movie too. I mean, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I kind of liked it that she had some, other skills too. It was nice to see. Like everyone kind of felt like everyone in their group felt like they had a little bit something to contribute here and there, even if it was small. So it was nice.
Even Samuel L. Jackson, he gave them a lot of emotional support. He made sure to give him a hand when she was being attacked by That
is
even though
character's death,
Well, here's the thing, right? At the time, I don't believe Samuel L. Jackson was large as an actor yet. I don't think he was. Yeah, I think that was one of his starting roles, like in a movie. I think. I'm thinking around that time. I'm pretty sure he wasn't a huge, big name actor yet. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's just one of those situations where, like now looking back, it's hilarious because like you hear his voice on the PA when everyone walks in, and it's low and it's soft, but I'm still internally hearing like, can we get these motherfucking dinosaurs out of this motherfucking park?
Oh,
and I'm just laughing so hard because I'm like, right, Samuel L. Jackson is in this movie.
Yeah.
And like they kill him off because he's just some character in this movie. But based in like everything else we've seen him in, we're like, no, that is Samuel L. motherfucking Jackson.
Right.
But in this movie, it's just like, nah, he's just Samuel L. Jackson. He's just, he is just that character. But they had a lot of actors in this movie. Funnily enough, like the actors in this movie that are considered the quote unquote mains, right? Like Grant and I already forgot her name. Again, I'm really bad with names. The point is that both of them, I can't remember seeing them in any other movies ever. I'm not saying they don't have a good career before or after this movie. I just can't say that I remember their faces. But Jeff Goldblum, Samuel L. Jackson, I can't remember his full name, but his last name is Wong. He actually he was one of the scientists that they saw when they all walked in and he was near the eggs. He's been in Law & Order SVU, a bunch of other stuff, and he was also recently in Mr. Robot as a trans character.
Right.
So, thinking of his career, thinking of Samuel L. Jackson, thinking of I can't remember his name sadly, which sounds like I don't know his career, but it's like, hey, he was in Seinfeld, and Seinfeld was huge, and he's a really funny comedian. So like you sit around and you're like, damn, like all these different people in smaller roles, kind of just like sprinkled throughout the movie, and then you think of the two that you would consider the mains, and I just can't remember their faces other than being in Jurassic Park.
I believe, I don't actually know what other movies it is, but I'm pretty sure I've seen them in other, just in passing, I've seen their faces in other movies. Maybe not as much as, some of the other characters or the other actors. But because I remembered because, as a kid, I would be like, oh, it's Dr. Grant. And my parents would start laughing.
Because they're like, Tristan, we're watching the third Jurassic Park movie. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no. Well, that...
You're like, shut up, Matt.
Pretty much.
But anyway, so my question is though, right? Like I was saying, I didn't really think that the subplot was smart. I'm not saying it was bad, but it wasn't smart. Just overall though, like what did you think about the film? Did you I know you say you enjoy it, duh, right? A lot of people do. But was there anything that really stuck out to you that you go, this is my favorite scene, or this is my favorite line of dialogue?
It's funny. I feel like I appreciate this movie the older I get. I mean, I guess it's kind of leveling off now, but like, there's one thing that I don't like. It's that a lot of the dialogue is kind of in low voices, so you have to crank it up to hear the dialogue. But then immediately after there will be a scene with, either the music spikes or, the terrifying screams and roars spike. So it's like, oh, no, I got to turn that back down.
Yes, well, remember, that's an action movie thing.
Yeah.
That's what sucks.
That's one of the only things that I can pick out that I remember not liking, but I was going to lead into something else with that. Yes, the dialogue. Like, just as a movie in general, I feel like there are so many subtle things here and there that I just never picked up on as a kid, but it's so funny and so good to me now. Like, I can't remember, I don't know, like, looking back at other movies I've seen, like, this movie has just such a great dialogue between its characters that I really have grown to appreciate the more that I actually listen to it and understand the humor and even just the ideas that are thrown around with, like, how Malcolm and Grant and Sadler were talking about, we've thrown dinosaurs back into the mix, Grant's line basically, like, we've thrown man and dinosaurs back into the mix together after, 65 million years, and we have no idea how this is going to, how we could really think about this going down. And it's like, obviously you get put back into the food chain with something that massive and predatory, like humans are going to have a problem. I mean, really, we don't have any natural defenses against being preyed upon. The only thing that we have is our intelligence and our tool making. So it's till we got fire, they were pretty low on the totem pole for the food chain. Like, a lot of things still ate us, and even today, there are a lot of things that can still eat people. It's just either killing them off or, we have tech to help support us and not be in direct line of their teeth.
Yeah. So one thing I want to say is I sat back and I was like, man, Grant, Sam Neill hasn't really been in anything that I can say that I've seen, right? So I was just going off of, me personally, not saying that he hasn't in a lot of movies. Not only has he been in a lot of movies, he's coming up he's going to be in Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So fuck me. That's just that. Yeah. So, apparently Laura Dern, who is, that was the woman. I still can't remember her name. Really bad. Sattler. So she, apparently is in the new Twin Peaks. Also was in Star Wars, or will be in Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Oh, damn. All right.
Oh. So that's very interesting. You know what that means, right? Just nerds like us are growing up and working on movies, and they're like, man, I like Jurassic Park. And they just end up getting these actors and actresses.
Right.
Oh, man. Oh, wait, she was in a movie called Mask, and I thought it was The Mask for a split second, and I was like, wait, what? But no.
Right.
But that's very interesting. She's going to be in The Last Jedi. So now we've gotten back into your territory again, Tristan.
Yes, we have. Oh, I
Yeah.
guess to answer one of the other parts of your question with, like, favorite scenes, I mean, I obviously have a lot with this movie, but the one scene that just, it kind of, like, I'll admit, it basically brings a tear to my eye. That first opening when they go into the park and Grant and Sattler are looking at the brachiosaurs as they're eating. Just the combination of the music, and I mean, I guess even for me, it has more impact because since I was a kid, I always wanted to be a paleontologist. Like, Grant is who I wanted to be as a kid, and technically still do today. So, just them having the scientific, background and the love of these animals and actually getting to see them, like, right in front of you, living and breathing, they're just so overcome with emotion, and I felt like, the actors captured it pretty damn well for basically looking at an open field and being told, hey, there's a dinosaur there, react to it.
That's a very good point. We never really talk about, and not you and I, just in general, people never really talk about, how hard it is to work in a movie where and nothing is real, right? And it's sad because I know that certain actors, like I know Mark Hamill talked about it being so hard to work on some of the earlier Star Wars films because of how he would just be surrounded by puppets sometimes. Like when he was training with Yoda, he didn't see any other cast member for months. So it's like he was filming his own movie with just a puppet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he was very sad during the making of that film. We also have, the way the prequels rather, were made for Star Wars. And people complain all the time, but they even discussed how hard it is to, you try and talk to someone like Jar Jar Binks, and you're just talking to a dude with something on his head with two giant stalks, and you have to look at that, and not either burst into laughter or cry yourself to sleep.
Right.
So yeah, you're right. They had to just tell them, hey, dinosaurs are right there. Imagine that. And I know it's well, duh, they're actors. But, you never say, imagine that person is standing right there. No, they're standing right there. You can work off them.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
so,
hard enough in being an actor with, actor or actress just carrying a conversation and trying to emote a certain thing in that conversation when there's someone literally standing 2 feet away from you. But to even take it, remove it a step further, there's nothing there, and you have to imagine it for yourself and get your reaction right is incredible. Actors don't have it easy,
Yeah, I mean, in the acting process.
Yeah.
No, because, afterwards, it's and then they get the millions, and then you're like, well, that's what it was for.
Well, yeah. I mean, not everybody even gets the millions, too. So.
Well, we're talking about this movie.
Well, yeah.
No one came out empty-handed.
True.
Yeah. No, we're talking about this one.
Yeah.
Usually. Yeah, usually movies that use this large amount of CGI and other effects, practical or otherwise. Usually, you're coming out with a paycheck. You're not going to be you're not going to be tossed. Granted, not actually tossed out of a tree, but tossed out of a fake tree, and then been all right, good job. Here's a piece of candy. Go away. Good job, kid. Yeah, you're getting some money. But one thing I want to say is, so for once, I'm usually the guy or I'm usually the person in general that never catches any mistakes. I'm really bad at catching mistakes. But I actually caught a mistake, funnily enough, for once in my life. When the entire system is down, right, and you end up having, the doctor basically being like, oh, well, the dinosaur doctor, it's being like, hey, go out. Like I would want to go out, and then of course you have Sattler basically saying like, hey, listen, we'll talk about sexism later. Right now I got to save you all. And when she goes out and she actually switches everything back on, she runs away from the Velociraptor. And when she's like at the end just crying, laying at the fence?
Yeah.
It says on the fence, electrified, danger.
Right.
Yeah, something that I assume it's like, and someone might go, yeah, no, but Matt, like, everything was on the fritz. Yeah, no, but she turned everything back on, so now everything is electrified again.
Right.
And by the way,
like you could boil it down to like, oh, that one didn't come on, but like that's too convenient when you later then have the scene with Tim climbing the fence and he's electrocuted. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, and yeah, no, it was something so small and so quick because of course she's running. So like as an actress, it's just like, yeah, no, of course you're going to be running, crying, and then you stop and then you just hold on to whatever you can and then you back, into it. But she was literally lying. It's not even like she was just holding on to. You could say she was holding on to the metallic part of the fence. That maybe that part isn't electrified. The rest of it is, but not that part or something. So like not the actual chains of it. She was holding on to another part. But it's just so funny because she's holding on to not just that part, but I think the chains as well. And then she's laying back into the fence, and I'm like, oh, she dead. She dead right now. But then they quickly cut, and I was like, oh, damn them.
Yeah. Would you rather be electrified or eaten alive? Would you rather?
Yeah, right. Well, essentially, I'm cooking myself for them, so I don't know.
Oh, shit.
Do I want to give them the satisfaction? No, let them work. Work if you have to eat me.
Oh, my God. Rebecca.
One thing that I found interesting, even though I know everyone was stressed, that we have Mr. Big Game Hunter over here, like, hey, I know how these velociraptors think, okay? And I know everyone was stressed, but he sees one in the wild, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to get that one. As it's coming at him, oh, you clever girl.
Yeah.
Granted, I know everyone was stressed, but...
Yeah.
And now someone might be thinking, but Matt, you only know that as the viewer because they gave it to you earlier. Like they spoon-fed it to you so that it would be shown later. Not they spoon-fed it. He did.
Yeah. I mean, he was the one even talking up the idea of, like, we shouldn't have raptors in the first place. I mean, like, a lot of characters were, but even he, like, because he watched over, I mean, he was an advisor for most of the closures for the park. But, again, Hammond mentioned that he has a park reserve in Kenya, too, in the movie, funny enough, and that he was helping run that as well. So, like, it's not that he doesn't have any experience dealing with wild animals and predatory animals, but the fact that he's trained, like, he's got his eye set on the one and holding the gun towards it. So he figured even if it charges that, he'll get off the shot first. But he knows these animals and that they're pack hunters. Like, because he even says we're being hunted. Like, so you know the other two are around. So why would you think that she's sitting there not noticing you and the other two aren't already, like, behind you?
Yeah, no, like, you can chuck it off. Like, yeah, like, someone's probably going to write it off as, it's dramatic irony. And it's like, yes,
yeah,
but it's also the fact that He's the one who gave us all of the information on them. He is the reason why we fear them. Not just like we fear them because they're velociraptors, but he gave us so much extra knowledge, such a knowledge dump that we're like, oh damn, like we know how these things can kill you, and then he forgoes that completely. And also, you know, and while I'm saying, oh, you could say that he was scared, he looked like he was prepping.
Yeah.
So the fact that he even overlooked it was kind of like, But and then of course he was eaten swiftly, eaten.
Yeah, I guess he just got so absorbed into getting the kill for that one that he just didn't notice, didn't realize the other one sneaking around the side.
I wonder if what's it called? I wonder if when the cow was being lowered, all I could think of is, well, it's a living.
Oh God.
Like, because like, there's a difference. Even though I love mice, like you know, mice that are domesticated, it is still like, it's still like, I don't know, like it freaks me out. And I think it freaks other people out too, even if they don't like mice, to be like, well, I'm going to feed my snake a live mouse. But look, that's what people do. Okay. But here it's just like, yes, we're going to feed our velociraptors a live cow. And it's just like, does it have to be alive?
Yeah.
And I know that's coming from us where we eat beef. So, like, who are we to say that? Like, I'm sure we're hypocrites to think that. But, like, still, like, just the idea of lowering it in. And then when you bring it out, it's like, welp, they broke the fucking harness.
Yeah.
And the fucking, like,
anything hunting and killing, you know, another animal, it's graphic. And it's I want to say, like, experience, but, like, yeah, it's jarring because something is dying in front of you, no matter big or small. Like you understand the concept of what's happening in front of you. It's not a pleasant idea.
Yeah, no, I only fed a snake a live mouse once, right? But when I fed the snake the live mouse, obviously you don't put it into its mouth. So what I did was I dropped it into the cage, but I gave it a little tiny switchblade just to give it a chance.
Oh my God! I mean,
sadly,
it can still be pretty sharp too. So.
What?
I'm just because I had in my experience, I have snakes. My father has snakes. Nothing venomous, you know, obviously. But yeah, you know, we feed them mice too. So I might, you know, not that the mouse is going to bite the snake really enough. You know, sometimes it happens the mouse will nip at the snake if it doesn't eat it right away, you know. And it can harm the snake a little bit. So it's just something you've got to be careful about.
I think the one that I put in had teeth, but either way, that switchblade, I mean, that snake, like, lost an eye. I mean, it ate the mouse, but that was intense.
Right. I know you were going for a joke, and I was actually being factual. But okay. That's why I'm here.
You can be factual all you want. I was as well. That snake can never see again. Fuck you.
Okay.
I mean, it can see. It has one eye, but still.
Yeah. I mean,
with its one eye.
And thermal sense.
Tristan,
anyway.
Tristan, with its one eye, maybe now it can't see you if you just don't move. If you don't move, then the snake won't see you and you'll live, right? That's how it works, Tristan?
I got it now.
Okay. I'm happy that like, there was this pause, and I'm like, all right, well, fuck you too, Tristan. No, but...
No, not going to let him have that one.
No, you're not going to let me have this one? All right, fine then. Yeah, no, but it was a scene is what it was. I was like, ooh, that's happening right now. Yeah, this whole idea of a Jurassic Park was just, it was sheer insanity, honestly.
Yeah,
sheer insanity.
Definitely. And like that's the sad part. It's kind of like, because Hammond he's not a bad guy, and he really had this true, like, it was a beautiful vision, just having this park and people being able to enjoy these animals and having them live in a, well, granted some of the plants were a little off here and there. It's like, yeah, western lilac, that's poisonous. Yeah, let's put it in with the herbivores. I'm sure they won't eat it. Shit. But it's such a beautiful vision that he had. It's just, especially, you know, the predators, like, you can't take that risk, man. It's too risky. Like, you dream big. It sounds great on paper, but it's just one of those things in practice that's like, yeah, so, like, it sounded great, but you didn't think we were actually going to go ahead with it, did you? Like, no, of course. I don't see what the problem is. And that's part of the problem. You don't see that there's a problem here.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not saying he's a bad guy either.
That scene, you know, she's like, the illusion is you thought you had control in the first place. Like, you know, I made mistakes too. You know, you forget the power of these animals, and you forget that nature needs to be respected, and you need to, you know, stay a reasonable distance from it, and, you know, don't try and screw with it, because it literally bites you in the ass. It's okay, Matt, you don't have to let me have that one, and we'll be even.
Look, no, but here's the thing, man, because I'm just focusing on the fact that you were like, he's not a bad guy, and I agree with you, but there was definitely hints of insanity there that they didn't really play up, but I'm sorry, there's hints of what?
No, like, I understand. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, because, and some people might be like, okay, but why insanity? Like, that's a big word. That's a harsh word. It's only because he sat there and he brought these professionals, and he thought they were all going to be like, oh, nice. This is nice. Good. I like it. Like, that's not how it works. Yes, he funded them for like 3 years. He funded them for 3 years. So maybe he thinks, oh, that might sweeten the pot a little bit for them. But at the same time, if they sign off on this, their names are on this. So it doesn't matter if you're like, we'll fund you for 3 years. They could, even from, like, this is more of a, not even more from a moralistic, more of like a pragmatic view, but still, like, they could lose their jobs over this.
Right.
Because literally, they're endorsing this if they say it's okay. The two of them are saying, yes, Dr. Me and Dr. Her are both saying that we enjoy this park. Yes, it's safe for everyone as people are getting eaten in the background. I'm not saying you'd videotape them, right? But just the idea that that's on record and then Hammond funds them for 3 years, that's bad. That's really bad.
Well, that was the idea, like, why they were so hesitant about it. Like, because, you know, these are live animals now, and, you know, yes, when we're learning more about them every day, but, like, you've now put them back onto, you know, the mortal realm. That's a big step from digging them up out of the ground, you know?
Yeah.
And
also,
Malcolm's time, it's like you know, you had something, you know, you found that your scientists, you know, could do it, and, you know, you never really stopped to think if you should do it. There's so many good lines.
Now that's, now I have a question with Goldblum's character. Why was he brought in? Like, was he brought in as more of a numbers guy / philosopher? Because I don't really see him talk numbers much, and I see him more talk about the philosophy of this even being a thing.
Yeah. Like, if he comes in with the lawyer, and they mention one small thing about it, but I'm not exactly sure why specifically he's brought in.
Yeah, that's the only thing, because, like, he's brought in as their guy. But it's funny, because you would normally think their guy would be more of a suit. So in a weird way, it's like they twisted it. Like, you would think Hammond would bring in the person who's, like, radical and, like, I love this, dinosaurs. But, like, he brings in the people that are like, yes, we are stern. dinosaurs. And then the lawyer brings in the guy that's just like a rock star, essentially.
Yeah, well, that's the joke he makes. I bring in experts, and you bring in a rock star. Or, even at the dinner table, he's like, I don't believe this. The two people I bring in that are supposed to defend me, and the only one that I have on my side is the blood-sucking lawyer. And he kind of looks at him like, thank you.
I think. Yeah, right? It was such a strange situation. Also the fact that, I understand that the money should go towards making dinosaurs safe, but I love the fact that apparently anyone can just pull up the ride and just walk over to the dinos. I think Goldblum fiddled with something, but it's still the idea of hey guys, you should probably put safety money into the ride.
Yeah, no, even the game warden, he says to Hammond as Grant, oh, no one could have predicted that, Dr. Grant would jump out of a moving vehicle. Alan! And no one could have predicted that, he would jump out of the moving vehicle either. And here I am talking to myself. The game warden even says to Hammond, how many times did I say we need to have locks on the freaking car doors?
Yeah.
I feel like that's also a problem, too, because Hammond kind of goes off, and I'm not saying it's not a good trait to have, but it does find a way of biting him in the ass a lot, that he seems like a person who is more concerned about the good in people, and, that, you don't necessarily have to be such a strict enforcer, you will expect people to conduct themselves and adhere themselves in a specific way, yes, we're driving through a park full of dinosaurs. Granted, most of them are behind a fence within their enclosure, so maybe getting out of the car isn't a bad thing in too many spots, but I think he's going off the nature no, people will stay in the car. It's people know that they need to stay in the car. John, you don't, oh God, you don't deal with people just normal everyday people too much, do you?
Why are we going to put seatbelts on a roller coaster? After all, everyone knows.
Everyone knows to hang on.
Yeah, right? It's just kind of no. When you have dinosaurs, you need to have a lot of... At least have, a dinosaur repellent that you make that, freaks them out.
Right. Yeah.
No. I'm being serious. You put something into them that they react to a certain amount of chemicals that could cause them not to die, because that would be horrific, but to at least be a dinosaur pepper spray or something. You literally made these creatures, and you're yes, bloodthirsty killing machines, just like they were supposed to be originally. Isn't it wonderful that they're almost an exact replication of how they were back then when they would eat and destroy everything? And now you get to pay money to see them with barely any protection at all. Ah, the wonders of capitalism.
Granted, you could say the same thing about humans, too, but...
What do you mean?
They'll eat and destroy everything.
Yes, but not to that scale with one person. One person with no weapons can't be a T-Rex.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
That's what I'm saying. If you're not giving them weapons, one person does not equal a T-Rex. It's like saying one person equals a lion. No. Something really funny that they did at the end that I really don't think anyone who made this movie, who had any kind of, pull on music cues or anything like that, I don't know how they thought that it was appropriate to put the uplifting music, have the track hit right as the T-Rex comes in to take out the other velociraptors.
It's funny. It's kind of like the T-Rex gets to be the guy with the shotgun that saves everybody without actually being, I'm here to save you. I'm here to eat.
But imagine if that guy with a shotgun was there to kill them 30 minutes prior.
Yeah.
No, like imagine if Freddy is like, I'm going to kill all of you. And then Jason comes in and you hear, dun, 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 dun. You see what I mean? Like, just because it's Freddy versus Jason and Freddy or Jason comes in to stop the other one doesn't mean that we get uplifting music because they're the savior.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's the idea that nature will take care of itself, basically, and that the humans no longer have control of these animals anymore, so it's like, they will stop each other.
No, it's a good scene.
Yeah.
No. It's a good scene, and I love the banner coming down at the exact moment when dinosaurs ruled the world. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the problem is that the music cue is just fucking hilarious. Like, I could name so many examples. Like Darth Vader, right? Oh, no, someone's trying to kill, the good guys. Oh, wait, Darth Vader doesn't want them to die because he wants to kill them later. Darth Vader comes in, dun, 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 dun. Like, it just doesn't make sense, right? But seriously, though, right, I could name you so many examples of how silly it is to be like, yes, and here's where we put in the heroic music. It's like, he was trying to kill them 30 minutes ago. Yes, but now he's inadvertently helped them. Inadvertently helping requires heroic music.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, granted, I'm not saying I know how they could have cut it. Like, I don't know how they could have cut it. I don't know what they could have done. It's just, in that moment, that exact way, that was such a weird cut. Like, it was just such a weird mix. I was like, I don't know if this is the right choice. I don't know what the right choice would be, to be fair, but I don't know if that was the right choice. Oh, man. So am I wrong for laughing when the kid got electrocuted? Only because of the model they used, like the dummy that they used to electrocute him, and then the wires that I'm sure that they used to have him fly off. Like, am I wrong for laughing? Because, like, if they had somehow found a way to not make it look like it was a dummy getting thrown off with wires, I would have been like, oh, no. But, like, just the way it's like, I'm thinking, oh, the kid's going to jump. He's going to get off just fine. No matter how many times I watch the movie, I always think he's going to get off just fine. And then it's like, no, and then, and I'm like, Jesus, they just shocked a dummy.
It's more the idea that you're laughing at the stunt, not the kid, and not the idea behind it. You're not laughing at a child being electrocuted. You're laughing at a dummy being thrown across the screen and the sound effect that it makes when it's hits the ground.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't it hilarious? I feel wrong to do it, but I'm like, I can't not laugh at that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I always worry when a show or a movie does something like that to a kid because I don't know if he's going to die or not.
Yeah, I mean,
no, because, like,
this movie based around people being eaten alive, I mean, I don't think it would be too far-fetched to be like, yeah, the kid gets electrocuted.
Yeah. That was also the fact that he's, what's really sad, too, like, it's one of those weird situations where, like, he gets electrocuted, and you can say, oh, adrenaline keeps him going. But, like, at first, he's, like, limping a lot, and it's really rough, hard for him to move. But then once the raptors come, it's like, well, thank goodness he got that ice cream, because now he's doing A-okay.
Again, it's like, yeah, the adrenaline rush. It's like, yeah, you'd be very surprised what you're capable of when your life is in danger.
Oh, no, but, like, the fact that he was even sitting down chill, I would argue that the adrenaline was gone then. So at that point, he should have collapsed and died. Not died, but he should have collapsed. Yeah, but he's just eating cake. Like, I'm good.
I mean, they were probably starving, too, at that point. Like, I love
no. That was
up his dessert, though.
Yeah, no, it was so funny, right? Like, it just makes sense. Like, we are kids, this is a banquet, and this is dessert. We are eating this. Like, I think we deserve a cheat day. Like, yeah. And also,
you can have all the pie you want.
Yeah, right. Just have all the pie you want, kid. But no, but my thing is this though, right? I think it was really cool to see afterwards, like the silhouettes of the Velociraptors. That was very very interesting, right? I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of how they took each one down, because it kind of turned Velociraptors into like the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, a little bit of Benny Hill started playing in some ways. It was a little weird. But I have to say, though, that something I didn't actually say earlier. I wanted to say earlier, but it slipped my mind. I'm happy that these dinosaurs in this movie, look, I'm not saying that it's accurate the way all of them acted. I'm not even saying that it isn't more exaggerated or that, they just tried to hype it up because they're the monsters or the villains in the movie. But I like how each and every dinosaur, they didn't just feel like they were just mindless killing machines. Where I feel like some movies are like, oh no, it's, like a bear's coming after you, or some other, like a lion or a tiger or whatever, and they don't give them strategy. They just say, they're coming after you. Oh, but I fought it off. Oh, it ran away. But in this case, it feels like, even with the T-Rex, like each and every one of them, they have some kind of methodology behind what they do. They don't just do things because they have to.
Right, yeah. I mean, we're rapidly finding that, raptors' intelligence levels are we're most likely pretty up there, along with possibly even like other primates like today, dolphins, birds. I mean, studies about even, I took some classes while being in college about different bird species, and there are species of crow and parrot that can figure out pretty complex puzzles. I mean, even like we're talking like the level of a small child here, like even primates too, like figuring out different puzzles that are on par with our intelligence level. So, like, the idea of the raptors, like, figuring out how to open the doors, especially just, like, maybe not a doorknob, but, like, most of these doors are handles. It's like, yeah, that's pretty believable that, they can figure that out.
It is. And it's, it's something that I'm really happy that they went with, because I think it would have really taken a lot away from the movie if they kind of just would have said, oh, they can kill you at any moment, and that's it. Like, I'm happy that they focused on them being smart. Now, granted, I don't want them being too smart, right? But I'm happy with them being able to, like, it makes sense they'd be able to open a door because the handles are actually quite small.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing crazy. Like, if it was like a keypad where it was just like,
right.
Oh yeah, the code is 1475, and it's like beep, beep, beep. I'm like, listen, their fingers can't even.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
right. Or like, it's a fingerprint.
Yeah.
Yes. Or what's even funnier, it's fingerprint based. Wait a minute, is that a dead body? Oh God, they're using that fingerprint. It's like, guys, this is a bit too much.
It's a retina scanner. The raptor just looks at it and like, access granted. What the hell, guys?
What the hell, Hammond? I wanted to give everyone an opportunity.
Oh,
like, wait, what?
God. Starts laughing maniacally. Oh, God, he really isn't.
But seriously, I just, I'm happy that it didn't get, to me anyway, it didn't feel like it got too much. The only thing that felt too much was when the raptor smiled, and I was like, can you really, like, I'm not saying you can't feel happiness, but like, it always feels weird when a movie is just like, yes, and then the ape smiled, and I'm like, that means something different to them than it does to us. I don't think they're smiling right now.
Oh yeah, especially in primates. Smiling, like, it's funny. Now, when you say the raptor smiled, where did you see that?
When it saw the kids running away, and it smirked.
Oh, in the kids' seat. It's funny. Like, like I get what you're saying, but
Hmm.
like you said, like smiling doesn't necessarily mean the same thing, and it's more of probably baring its teeth, which in the animal kingdom, which technically humans are still a part of. So, you can bare your teeth. People baring their teeth is still like a threatening message. We've kind of, as Homo sapiens, our species, have kind of twisted it into, no, like smiling, exposing your teeth in a certain way is a greeting, you're happy. But for most other primates or any other animal, when the animal shows its teeth to you, it means these are my weapons, and I will use them if you get any closer.
Interesting thought. How, like, I'm sure there's no distinction. Maybe how would an animal be confused or still think you're a threat if you smile without opening your mouth?
It's still just the idea of baring your teeth, because it's a study with primates.
No, you're not baring your teeth. You're not baring your teeth. You're not opening your mouth. Your lips are shut, but you're smiling.
Oh, I see.
Is it just confused? Like, fuck is that thing doing? Whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that specifically. I don't know if they even like register that as something that's a sign.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like if you just did that, like smiled without even opening your mouth or showing teeth, they're just like, okay, those are your lips. Whatever. Anyway, moving on. Are you gonna throw your feces or you're not, Tom? What are you doing here? What are you? But anyway, no. But I'm just really happy with what they did with these dinosaurs, because again, you could have just made them stupid, quote unquote, and everyone would have believed it.
And it's funny. Like, I feel like the two instances where the kids kind of quote unquote fooled the raptors. The one, with the girl being in the cabinet at the bottom there, and it's reflected off onto the surface. Like, for me, that doesn't feel like, aha, silly raptor. It's like, no, that's legitimately confusing. Like,
yes,
reflections are not something that most animals deal with, or not all can recognize. And then with, the boy running into the freezer, everything has melted and it's slippery, and the raptor was getting up to speed to chase him, so it sliding once it gets in there makes sense as well. I feel like their recovery times would have been not so long, so when they both run back out, after the one collided with the cabinet, I don't think it would have just kind of stood there and looked at them as they ran out of the kitchen. I feel like it.
Yeah, no. Even though it wants, that's the thing, because like even though it wants to hunt, it's just kind of like, are we like you're letting them run away because they want to hunt? It's like yes, but they're right there. You're fast. Even when they fell in the freezer, the kid was like trying to run away and he was stuck. And I think that they were trying to go for, oh, that's cute / oh, get away quickly. But to me, it came off as, oh, so now you are your food. Like he caught you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's for suspense and just dramatic effect. It's like, oh God, he's flipping around too. Is he gonna make it out? There's a lot of that, obviously. Even when they're crawling across the ceiling, and the girl nearly falls out again because the raptor sticks his head through. And just that instance where Grant is, just gets her leg back in before Jaws snap down as it jumps for her again.
Yeah, that was crazy, because even I want to sit there and be like, oh, that's too much. But no, they escaped up there. Let me look up. Oh shit, there's bumps there. That's where they are moving. It's like in grass, right? And then just fucking jumps up. That was very, very smart, very intense.
Yeah. I feel like the only scene like that I didn't necessarily agree with was with the T-Rex attacking the car that the kids were in, and when it comes through the top windshield, yes, some of it broke off, and I know it's strong glass for a car, to resist impacts and shatter resistant. But when an animal with that much strength is coming down on it, I don't think it would have resisted as well as it did. Like, granted, the kids would have been dead. That would have been it. They were dead. So I get why, it doesn't break so they can get away. But it being that suspenseful, it's like, it was for that shot. It's like they're literally looking into this animal's mouth. Like, that's terrifying. Like, no matter how many times I watch this movie, the moments with the Tyrannosaur and the raptors still freak me the fuck out. Like, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Like, that suspense is never lost on me.
So here's something interesting. Apparently the T-Rex was actually an animatronic?
Yes.
So then it wasn't CG.
Not all of it. I think, like, the high-speed moments were, and I think when it was maybe interacting with the raptors at the end, and like, the chases were CG, but...
Right. What they may have done was, Tristan, is they may have had it be an actual animatronic, but in front of a green screen or something. So that's why it looked weird to us.
Right. But yeah, like, I remember seeing a lot of, like, making of series for this, and, like, just the amount of work that, goes into, essentially making it a giant puppet, or, even just the puppet, like, never mind a full-scale animatronic, is just incredible. And the detail that they put every single one of them was just amazing.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back to it now. It was just like when I was a kid, and I went to Universal with family a few different times, and we went on some Jurassic Park rides, and it was very, very scary. Very, very, very scary. You've been to them too, I imagine. Yes. But anyway, before we wrap things up, I want to say something crazy that I'm sure many people know, but it's about the second movie, but it still relates because obviously, as everyone knows, this movie was based on a book. And apparently, the sequel wasn't even, like, they were going to make a sequel, but I guess they wanted to seem legit. I don't know why they actually pressured the author to write another book.
Right.
How crazy is that? I know it technically doesn't involve this movie directly, but I mean, how crazy is it to sit there and say we're going to pressure an author to write another book so that we can make a movie? It's just like, you guys, like, you couldn't just make a movie. What do you?
Yeah.
Like, how weird is that?
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, but and yeah, I don't know much about the novel itself. Have you read the book?
I own a copy. I'm sad to say that I've never actually gotten around to reading it. I'm kind of ashamed, but I do.
All right,
plan on
I
reading
think
it.
It's time for you to. You have the time. I think it's time for you to just start reading it.
I know.
All right, because I mean, look, I'm not saying I haven't liked Jurassic Park for a very long time, but I haven't been into it the way that you have. So you should read your copy of Jurassic Park.
I mean, it's funny. I'm staring at the Star Wars book that I'm currently reading right now.
How many times have you read that one book?
No, this is the first time I'm going through it. There's 9 books, 10 books, in this series. So I'm on like 6 or 7, I think.
Oh, good for you. Because you have to understand, everyone, sometimes Tristan comes to me with quotes from books, and I'm like, how many times have you read that book? And he's like, shut up. So I don't know if he was reading this book for like the 6th or 7th time. But it's okay, right? It's okay. Because we're actually at the end of our show, everyone. I want to thank you all for listening to this show. Problems and all, little tiny quirks and all. Thank you so much for listening. You guys help us be us. So thank you so much. Anything you want to say before we finish, though? Anything you want to say about the movie before we wrap things up completely, Tristan?
I don't know. Just that it's a really big one for me. It's definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. And I feel like a lot of people, like, I've talked to other people for the short time that I was in Utah working on, paleontological digs, and just how many people, really do love this movie. And, like, even though, a lot of it, is not accurate, because that first scene where they're digging up the velociraptor in the desert, it's like, you don't find the skeleton all complete and intact and, like, all together like that. That is not how that works at all.
No.
I do love it. It's weird. It's kind of the idea of, like, glorifying your profession. It's like getting to see your profession represented up on the big screen, or a profession that you want to go into, or something that interests you, and they do it in a decently respectful way. I mean, granted, it's Hollywood. Things are always going to be taken out of context, or, like, blown out of proportion, but, like, I really do love what they did with it.
Something quick. I know you said that doesn't happen, having the whole skeleton. I know it doesn't happen, but has it ever happened?
There are cases where a skeleton can be found nearly complete, but that is incredibly rare. Like,
of course. I'm just asking.
Yeah, it can possibly happen. It's just the right circumstances are met, and the skeleton is not disturbed too much while it is in the process of being buried. But yeah.
Right. But anyway, so I want to wrap up everything. Thank you so much. Happy that you guys were here listening to us. And I just want to remind you that if you want to listen to some of our other podcasts that we've done, other Friday night movies, I mean, usually we do Godzilla films. Tristan and I, anyway, have done Godzilla films. So if you want to listen to any of those podcasts, you can go check out our iTunes, which you search up Those Guys and find us on iTunes. You can search up our Facebook, which is /Those Guys on the Radio, which will have posts on our older stuff and even newer podcasts that we're doing for next month. So we have Those Guys on the Radio, or we have our Twitter, which is @ThoseGuysRadio, or our Instagram, which is also /Those Guys on the Radio. And speaking of our podcast directly, though, I don't know where you're listening to us. So you might be listening to us through our iTunes, our Blog Talk Radio, which is /Those Guys on the Radio, or our YouTube archives, which is actually, if you search up Those Guys on the Radio, you'll find us there. I just want to, depending on what you're listening to us through, you can check out our older shows, or I mentioned next month we're having our Halloween in July specials. So we're actually doing movies that are a bit more horror-esque, or at least more on the side of, Frankenstein, Dracula, stuff like that. So, again, if you want to find out what specific movies we're doing, check out our social media accounts, and you will get updates there. Also, our main website, which is teachproduction.net. You can actually find our merchandise on there as well, which is teachproduction.net/merchandise, or over at our eBay, which is /USR/ThoseGuysRadio. And on our eBay, we have exclusive merchandise that you can't get anywhere else. So you can actually get posters drawn by another podcaster and Let's Player that we work with named Anthony Sanandris, and also some, T-shirts, which you can get on the website as well. You can get T-shirts on the website as well that are either Those Guys Play variations or other fun things that we've said on the show. But when it comes to the eBay, there are some exclusive, pop figures, not of us, but pop figures and video games and stuff like that that'll be exclusive to our eBay channel. Also want to mention our Patreon. You can help support us and help us be us. Go on our Patreon, which is /EG Productions, and there's different rewards that we're even adding more rewards to. So other things you can get, for the low price of just helping fund us be us. So speaking of I mentioned our Let's Plays briefly. You can go check out Those Guys Play over on YouTube by searching up Those Guys Play. And sadly, Tristan and I have not played a Jurassic Park game yet. So we might need to change that, Tristan. But you and I have played Disney's Dinosaur.
So, yeah, Dinosaur game is on that list. A game with dinosaurs.
Yeah. Yes, right. But funnily enough, not only have we played Disney's Dinosaur and still are playing it over at Those Guys Play, we've also done a podcast for Anna Saturday, another show that we do here at Those Guys on the Radio. We did Disney's Dinosaur for it. That was a thing. Yeah. So anyway, just a quick flashback to bring Tristan back to terrible memories. But yeah, so what?
It was one of my favorites as a kid.
The movie or the game?
The movie.
Okay. Yeah, I'm bringing you back to the game and the movie, so you have to take both. Anywho, thank you all. Hope you have a good night. Hope you all had fun. I think we did. I mean, we did. Jurassic Park. Not at this exact moment talking about Disney's Dinosaur, but.
Oh.
But yeah. So, yeah, Tristan had fun, and that's what matters. So, say goodnight, Tristan.
Good night, everybody.